In this video, we'll talk about reflection, how to arrive at acceptance and move on from there. Managing and overcoming anxiety takes work, a lot of work through self-observation and introspection, which is why this video is filled with worksheets that help you ask the right questions and as a result find the right answers. This process isn't easy. It isn't quick either, but we guarantee that the rewards are long-lasting and worthy. In this chapter, we speak about reaching a place where you can accept your current situation and plan. We provide guidelines that help you reflect and reassess your situation, the reasons for it, and ways to manage it too. The first step to the process is to monitor your body's responses to events that bring on your anxiety. This step is vital because sometimes people don't realize they're going through an anxiety attack until they begin to experience some physical components of it. Once you are physically aware of what your body is going through, you can track your feelings and observe their relationship with each other. Finally, we show you how to become more aware of your present state of mind. We show you how to accept it and move on from there. Understanding your body signals. Daisy is a bit taken aback when her doctor diagnoses her with anxiety. Her doctor suggests she spend more time listening to her body, and so she tries to understand her body signals by writing down unpleasant physical sensations as she experiences them. What she discovers over a week surprises her. She realizes she is experiencing some of the telltale signs of anxiety. She decides to take control of it, and with the guidance of her doctor starts tuning in to find a way out of her dilemma. Worksheet 10. Tracking your body's signals. Here is a list of common bodily symptoms and signs of anxiety. Keep a track of any signs you experience for a week, along with the day you experienced it and the situation that led up to the experience. Now, some of the symptoms might be like that of an illness. If your symptoms are indicative of an illness, then consult your doctor for advice. But if your symptoms are a result of your anxiety, then you're likely to have an emotional thought that led to it. Increased heart rate, difficulty in breathing, stomach discomfort, headache, dizziness, sweaty hands, palms, feet, forehead, lightheadedness, tightening of chest, feeling disoriented, feeling nauseous, feeling lonely and sad. At the end of each day, review your notes. Take time to think about what you feel. Write your feelings. Minding your moods. After you become more aware of your body's signals, you might be able to connect them with your changing moods. Track your moods every day for a week. How do you feel when you are happy? How do you feel when you think you are feeling anxious? What is your mood like? How do you react to emotional situations? Can you identify it as you experience it? What are your thoughts at such a time? How much control do you have over your thoughts and responses? Your moods too. Worksheet 11. Mood Tracker. Each day, circle all the feeling words mentioned below that describe your emotions. Think and describe your mood and behavioral patterns at such times. Describe the situations that led to it, your thoughts when you were experiencing it. Simply observe and describe your thoughts and reactions during the first week. Try and yield a level of control over any negative and unpleasant thoughts and moods during the second week. How are you feeling? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Continue to balance your thoughts and mood swings. Do you see any progress? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Rehabilitating your thoughts. Now that you've spent a little time with your mind and body, you might have a fair idea of what they're trying to tell you. This understanding will only get deeper and more intuitive as you understand yourself and your anxiety better, and you'll get there as you keep working on the worksheets. Finding acceptance. Now it's time to move on to the phase of acceptance. And to get there, you must first unearth and remove any distorted thought patterns that might be stopping you from moving on. What are distorted thought patterns? Distorted thoughts are thoughts that are disconnected and different from reality. They are thoughts you tell yourself to avoid reality. Here are some examples of distorted thought patterns. Expanding and shrinking. Your mind exaggerates the unpleasantness of the task on hand and underestimates your reluctance and/or incapability of doing it. For instance, you may think, it's impossible to solve this problem. Nobody can do it. Truth is, a few people in your team might have been able to do it. You dismiss it as impossible and therefore don't try and seek assistance. Filtering. Your mind filters out information and feedback to its inconvenience. For instance, you receive feedback on your performance. You have 3 good scores and 2 poor ones. Your mind can filter this either way. It can make you believe that you were good in 3, and so the other 2 don't matter, Or it can make you ignore the 3 and focus on how miserable you are. Dismissing evidence. Your mind discards evidence that may challenge its negative narrative. For instance, you are preparing for an exam and are worried that the lessons you skipped might end up in the paper. And so, your mind dismisses it by believing it already knows that those lessons will be ignored. Generalizing. You look at a single, unpleasant incident and decide that the event represents a general, unrelenting trend. For instance, you tell your friends that they are never there for you and are always late when they might have missed a few events and are caring and punctual people. Presumptuous. You assume that you know what others are thinking without confirming it with them. For instance, you take it for granted that the other person might be okay with your choice of decisions for them. Emotional reasoning. If you're feeling something, then that is the truth, the reality. For instance, if you're afraid of something, then it must be dangerous for you. If you don't like working on your anxiety, then you believe that you cannot overcome it and therefore must settle with it. Unreliable forecasting. You assume a negative thought will manifest into reality. You fear driving, and so you convince yourself that you're likely to meet with an accident if you drive. Overcoming any distorted thought patterns. Worksheet 12. Distorted Thoughts Tracker. Reflect on the above table. Take time to truly reflect on each pattern. And when you are open and ready, spend time to check if you display any of them. You can also ask a close friend or relative to give you their honest opinion. Once you identify a pattern, mindfully try and avoid this every time you catch yourself falling into the trend. Again, seek assistance from loved ones if you can. Tracking your thoughts and looking for distortions in them helps put things in better perspective, which in turn starts improving your mood and reduces anxiety. So, stay honest and patient. Assessing your present and preparing a plan for the future. Now that you know your pitfalls and the stuck points that are stopping you from moving ahead, accept them without guilt or resentment. It makes the process of letting go of them easier. Face your problems and take action to change it. Assess your responsibility and determine your next steps. Start by replacing any negative thoughts with positive and constructive thoughts. Change your perspective. Become more aware of yourself and your surroundings, of the reality too. Stay honest and open to feedback and change. Distinguish the past from the present. Take direct action against problematic thoughts. Connect with now. Ask yourself, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Worksheet 13. Setting goals. Can you think of anything that you want more than you fear? Your example could be anything from investing in a property, becoming more fit, creating stronger social ties, or it can be facing your fear itself. If you can't think of anything right now, don't rush through. Take time to let the question marinate for a few days, weeks, even months perhaps. Keep going back to it to see if you have something that aligns with your purpose in life. Write them down when they hit you, and they will. Great. Now you have your goals in front of you. What can stop you from achieving them? Nothing. The next few chapters will show you how. In this video, we'll talk about acting against angst, how to act on your fears and achieve your goals. If introspection and mindfulness can help you understand the origins and outcomes of your anxiety, changing your behavior can help you overcome it. The previous chapters showed you how to arrive at your goals. They showed you a glimpse of what you can be. This chapter shows you how you can have that experience for a lifetime. By setting goals, you can change your narrative. And by changing what you do, you can change the way you feel. Evading avoidance. If you experience fear and anxiety, you probably avoid the things that make you feel uncomfortable. For instance, if you don't like crowds or if socializing makes you feel anxious, then you may choose to avoid crowds, like going out on a holiday or shopping during peak times. Yes, this might be the most natural thing to do, but here's the problem. The problem is that avoidance increases or intensifies anxiety. You may not realize it, but when you avoid something because of fear, the relief of not having to deal with your fear is your biggest reward. And it's addictive too. So, if this time you feared large crowds, by avoiding the fear, you decreased your threshold to that fear. And because it gave you an instant reward, you're more likely to avoid it again. If large crowds make you uncomfortable, soon smaller crowds will begin to do the same. And with time, your avoidance will push you to a point where the mere sight of people or thought of engaging in the slightest conversation might put you through a panic attack. Identifying and acting against your fears will help you overcome the fear as well as any anxiety that might have accompanied it. With plenty to benefit, it makes sense that you try. Worksheet 14. Identifying your fears. To face your fears, you must first know what exactly you fear. What is it that troubles you the most? What accelerates your anxiety? Reflect on your top 5 fears, the ones that are coming in the way of your goals and the ones you want to do something about. Where do they come from? What are the situations and events that bring on these fears? What's the worst that can happen? Imagine them. Describe it in words. Take your time and don't rush through the experience. Review your answers when you are ready. Acting against your fears. Congratulations! You've completed the first step. You're doing great. Now that you've zeroed in on your fears and where they come from, you can create a plan to overcome them. Worksheet 15. Taking the step-up approach. Pick the least feared item from your checklist. Create steps that will help you overcome your fear. For instance, Jason fears crowded places, especially malls, and so his steps might include imagining waiting in line at the post office and interacting with people, going to the post office by himself, greeting the person at the counter, imagining watching a movie at the theater, attending a movie with a friend during the weekday, and in time during the weekend, imagining buying groceries from a store, going grocery shopping all by himself on a weekend, checking for offers, spending time at the store, imagining visiting a mall during a holiday, visiting and spending time at the mall before it opens, visiting and spending time at the mall with a friend when it is open, visiting and spending time at the mall all by himself during a holiday. Take time to reflect on your plan. Keep it real and in order. Take time to execute your plan and face your fear, tracking your progress until the fear doesn't bother you anymore. Again, don't rush and take your time to live the experience. Embrace the changes that come with it. Begin the process. Create and execute your plan. Great, so you've tapped into your strengths, recognized what you want, and have laid out goals that will keep you busy. What's next? Well, you create a formidable plan to materialize those deliverables. Your ability to set up a quick, direct, and foolproof action plan for your goals is what is going to see you through the finish line. If you walk into the game with just the right cards in your pocket, you've got yourself a winner at the very beginning. Consider every aspect that might influence, conflict, or jeopardize your plan. Brainstorm on a properly written plan that lists out specific details of your action steps and deadlines. There is nothing such as an ideal plan. Your plan is only as good as your thoughts are today. The more you learn, the more your plan is likely to change. Take time to prioritize your action steps in the sequence they are likely to follow. Treat it as the blueprint of your road to success. The more groundwork you invest in it, the more foolproof and success-oriented it becomes. Be mindful of any possible setbacks, but don't let them wear you down. What if an old fear comes back? What if the anxiety comes back? Will they come back? Truth is, we don't know. Each person's anxiety and experience are different. They might, but even if they do, you now know how to get on top of them. Don't let the fear of evoking a fear drain you out. You have better things to focus on. Stay positive. You've got this. No need to hurry. Remember, while this might be about achieving your goals, it is also about overcoming your anxiety. You do not want to create a situation where you've taken more than you can chew. You're in this for a lifetime. It's always going to be work in progress, but each day, you're better than what you were yesterday. Know when you've tried too long. Because anxiety forces your thought process to be rigid, it can sometimes make you persist on tasks even when you know they aren't working out. Recognize the signs that you need to stop persisting. It's okay to fail. Fail too. No one is perfect and there is no ideal plan. Keep asking yourself what's working and what's not. If you think you're missing the bus and there's scope for improvement, don't be ashamed to get back to the drawing board and start over again. You'll be surprised by the wave of new ideas coming your way. Realign your plan. Improvise too. Always ask yourself, is there a better way around? When you stay open to new ideas, you leave room for creativity and growth. Complete what you've taken. Uncertainty can trigger a degree of anxiety in most people, but for a person suffering from anxiety, any sense of uncertainty, whether it comes from a space of unfinished tasks or repeated failures, can trigger the worst symptoms. Your anxious mind is probably waiting for a chance to bounce back in and take control, and it will try to do so. The key is to be aware of this, but not get perturbed by it. Complete what you've taken and only move ahead when you've finished your previous task. The joy of seeing through a project from start to end will give you the confidence to win over anxiety for good. Become a better version of you. Once you've created your plan and find it executing rather well, it's time you reach out for brighter and more rewarding pastures. You've worked hard to make it so far. Now, it's time to capitalize on your achievements and make advancements. Experiment ideas and invent them too. Be a game changer. When you've channelized your energies in the right place and know you have things going for you, you'll leave no room for anxiety or fear to enter your life. In this video, we'll discover about navigating self-imposed obstacles, how to stop being a hard task master. The general perception is that people with anxiety live too far in the future. They worry about what might happen the next moment, the next day, next week, next year, but struggle to stay in the present. They fear the unknown and so spend a large part of their time searching for cues from the future. While this is true, it doesn't quite paint the entire picture. Anxiety can certainly be caused when one anticipates the possibility of facing their fears in the future. But where did these fears come from? Certainly, the origins of it might have stemmed from the person's past. Moving ahead of any past pain memories. When something unpleasant happens to you, it is only natural to do everything you can to avoid going through it again. Outwardly, this makes sense, and it is healthy to learn from our experiences, good or bad, and move on. But what happens when you can't move on? What if you become so consumed by the possibility of facing that experience, which might have become a fear or phobia in time, that you become paralyzed by it? What if in the act of moving on, you've dug yourself a grave out of which you cannot come out or live in? What do you do then? You must face your past to face your fears and make peace with them. To overcome your anxiety for today and tomorrow, it is important that you first heal your past. Worksheet 16. Assessing any past pain memories. Choose the most suitable answer. How do you react when you remember memories from your past that might indicate any prior failure, bad experience, embarrassment, and/or sorrow? The thought doesn't bother you because you've moved on. You focus on the task ahead. You flinch while thinking about the unpleasant experience. Avoid things that could bring back those memories. It does affect your mood, but you can bounce back after some time. The thought of these experiences can bring back the worst symptoms of anxiety. You are unable to focus on the task ahead and feel miserable for a long time. The thought never leaves and is always lurking around in the corner of your mind. If remembering your past is doing you more harm than good, then it's time you leave it behind and move on. Moving away from the past you need to leave behind. Worksheet 17. Letting go. Revisit the past if you can learn from your experiences, but don't engage with it. Ask yourself, what happened? Probe only on the facts. What emotions do I feel? How can I use this to empower myself and my feelings? Is there something I want to express? Take responsibility. Focus on healing and moving to a better place. How can I heal? What do I need to do to forgive, forget, disconnect, and move on? Write down your thoughts. Work on them too. Revisit this exercise whenever the feelings return and until you've moved on. Make beautiful new memories in place of them. Overcoming obsessions. Obsessions are repeated unwelcome thoughts, images, or impulses that force a person to act on them. These thoughts can soon become the reason you worry all the time, in turn, creating a breeding ground for your anxiety. Some obsessions can be harmless at first thought, such as worrying about the tidiness of your house, keeping things in their places, locking doors, switching off appliances. But because these thoughts translate to continuous doubt and worry, they can put a lot of stress on the person experiencing them. Some thoughts can take a more sinister form, such as harming someone you love, engaging in shameful sexual behaviors, and violating another person's dignity. Sadly, compulsions are undesired actions that people repeatedly find themselves doing. They have little control over what happens between thought and action, but might have to live with the guilt of their actions forever. Knowing when you need help. Plenty of people experience minor obsessions in one form or the other, and that's completely okay. Obsessions might cause no problem. But if your repeated thoughts and actions begin to infringe, violate on yours and society's belief systems, then it can become a serious problem. We suggest you seek medical help then. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, can cause a great deal of emotional discomfort. It can also consume a considerable amount of time of the person living with it. Worksheet 18. Recognizing any obsessions. Because obsessions mostly start with thoughts and imagery, it makes sense that you identify them through imagination. Find a comfortable, private place to sit and work through these questions. Reflect on whether you have any distressing, obsessive thought or image. Write them down, if any. Visualize them. Do they interfere with your peace? Do they cause and add to your anxiety? Are they harmful by nature? How upset do they make you feel? Would you rather not think or do what you do as a result of these thoughts? Do you want to move to a better place? Worksheet 19. Minding any obsessions, compulsions. Sit with your feelings, gradually telling yourself you can overcome these thoughts and any unfavorable things they might make you do. Imagine yourself doing the positive things you want to replace your thoughts or actions with. Repeat the thought or image, replaying it several times over, yes, in a compulsive sort of way. Continue this imagery for as long as you want or until you feel like you've done a degree of what you wanted to do. Repeat this exercise every day, mindfully replacing any negative or unfavorable obsessions with positive imagery that makes you feel good and can set you free. New beginnings. Love yourself and feel good about everything you are going to do in the future. The happier and more content you stay within yourself, the more your brain recognizes your happiness to stay away from any unpleasant obsessions or compulsions as a reward. Also, you are likely to feel less anxious too. Focus on the positives. Remember that every mistake made is a lesson well learnt. Take the positives out of the outcome and push further. Staying motivated is all about staying positive and optimistic. Draw inspiration from people who've made a difference in your life. Read plenty and draw inspiration from other achievers. Worksheet 20. Creating tomorrow. Take some time to reflect on how you want your near future to be starting tomorrow. Write them down. What obsessions or compulsions do you need or want to start working on immediately? How do you plan to approach them? Make a mental note of everything you need to face this situation. Do you have everything you need? Now imagine yourself going through these situations tomorrow. Imagine yourself delaying the urge to act on any unfavorable thoughts. How far did you go? Continue this exercise every day, delaying the urge to act until you don't feel like acting on your impulses because they either don't bother you anymore or simply don't exist. You've got this. Tomorrow is a new beginning. Make it count. Be a little better than what you were today. In this video, we'll discuss preventing burnout, how to overcome your anxiety without getting tied down by the idea of perfection. Setting real expectations. So, you've understood the origins of your anxiety and you're working on your goals. You're also in the process of working on any obsessions and stuck points you might have to come across in the way. The ideal scenario is that you enjoy your progress and learn from any lessons and setbacks. You take everything in stride and don't get too influenced by it. But sometimes, this can be easier said than done, especially for a person dealing with anxiety. Sometimes, their anxiety-driven expectations can get in the way. This chapter will show you how to focus on the bigger picture. It will show you how to move past any unhelpful standards of perfectionism and be your only competitor because you don't need to compete with anyone but yourself. Being a little better than yesterday every day will get you where you want to be without the stress. Worksheet 21. Expectation Tracker. Take the below quiz choosing between often, sometimes, and never. 1. How often are you bothered by fears of not measuring up? 2. How often are you bothered by what others will think? 3. How often do you compare yourself with others? 4. How often do you become frustrated with the pace of your success? Choose the most applicable answer for the below questions. 5. What's your reaction when your friends or colleagues perform better than you? You don't panic. Take it as a healthy competition and work harder. You start comparing and get anxious with the notion of not being good enough. You feel miserable and like a failure. You're also anxious for long. On what basis do you set or measure goals and success? On personal beliefs and interests? On borrowed, societal, or others' definitions? 7. Do you jump from one unfinished project to another unfinished project when you are anxious or in self-doubt? Yes, I cannot concentrate and so try different things. Sometimes. No, I try and work on one thing at a time. Yes, I have plenty of unfinished projects. Reflect on the answers. They can tell you if your idea of achievement is yours to chase, if it is causing your anxiety, and if you need to alter the course of what you believe is your destination. Perfectionism and borrowed expectations. Setting expectations while chasing goals is a great way to ensure you complete everything that you've set forth for yourself. But if those expectations aren't stemming from your needs and are, on the contrary, based on what others believe is right, then you're more likely to be living someone else's life. The dreams aren't yours and the pursuit, although committed by you, may feel disconnected in some way. Finally, the success, if you manage the conviction to get there, won't be rewarding enough. Leaving no room to pause. Falter too. As a result, you may end up feeling that you haven't done enough, aren't good enough. You're likely to work harder, chase farther, with no room to pause. Falter too. You'll always want to feel more because everything that you feel in your pursuit of living others' dreams may not mean as much to you. Unrealistic and borrowed expectations is considered a risk factor for developing anxiety problems. Not every anxious person lives on perfectionism and borrowed dreams, but if you do, then this chapter is for you. Avoiding comparisons. A common obstacle while making personal and transformative changes is social comparison. You cannot compare yourself to others when it comes to creating an agenda that works for you. Well, you can, but it won't be helpful. A schedule that feels convenient and right for someone else might not be right for you. Worksheet 22. Becoming the change you want to see. Take time to reflect on your ideals, things that you connect with and things that you want to invite into your life. How close is it from your current reality? If it is in alignment, then you can skip this step. But if what you envisioned is a stark contrast to what you're living, then it's time to change the trajectory of your pursuit. It's time to align it to things that resonate with you. Because when you walk this new path that you're about to create, you'll discover your purpose. And what better way than to live your life with purpose? Change everything if you have to, but change them one thing at a time. Changes in how you feel are going to come from making a mixture of external changes, such as changes in how you spend your time, and internal changes, such as what you think and believe. Reflect on your narrative. What part of it do you need to change? What do you need to do to act out the change? Make a list of steps to get there. Start working on them, one step at a time. Fear of feedback. At large, feedback endorses progress. Used constructively, it can help people improve. However, that might not necessarily be the case all the time or for all people, especially anxious people. Anxious people mostly avoid it because of the additional layer of expectation and criticism it can put on them. Most anxious people already feel stifled by all their compulsions, obsessions, expectations, perfectionism. Another layer might not help. Here's how you can manage feedback and use it constructively. Worksheet 23. Overcoming feedback fears. Think of a situation in your life that you know will benefit from feedback, but you're avoiding it. Ask yourself, why am I avoiding this feedback when I know it might be helpful? How likely does it feel that I'm going to get very negative feedback? How close is it to the truth? Okay, you now know that already. Now ask yourself, how will I benefit from this feedback? What's the worst that can happen? Does it measure up to the possible benefits? Do I need assistance to cope with any resulting emotions? For instance, you might want to talk to a friend. Finally, if the feedback is going to be beneficial, prepare to receive it. Think of one specific instance in the past when feedback, negative feedback because that's what you mostly fear, was very helpful to you. Factor any chances of bias or hostile feedback. Recognize their signs and know when to not take them seriously. Invite the experience knowing that you've got yourself covered, whatever may be the outcome. Reward yourself. You've made great progress. After you've worked on a task you've been avoiding, allow yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor by taking time to appreciate yourself, doing something you like to do. Choose rewards that can help you progress from where you are. Rewarding yourself with a supersized portion of fries while on a weight loss journey won't help. Instead, pick up something that you always wanted to wear, only in one size lesser. Not only will this motivate you to reach the next milestone, but you'll also know that you have a nice little reward waiting for you when you get there.